The moon was full and yellow. It wasn't hard, Pamela thought, to share in the awe that had made earlier people see in the transition from summer to winter a time when the line separating this world from the other world blurred. Despite the festive atmosphere and good cheer, the bonfire awoke feelings more appropriate to a pagan celebration marking nature's mysterious powers. The flames illuminated rapt faces, dramatizing features, and rendering the familiar unfamiliar. Pamela felt herself shiver despite the heat, and she was just as glad when, after a time, Bettina said, "I feel like I'm burning up. Let's step back a little and let someone else have a front row spot." They eased through the crowd, past the Greek goddess, a jester, a pirate, and several other costumed revelers, and meandered across the grass until they were near the little stand of trees that marked the northeast border of the park. A light on a tall pole illuminated that corner of the park, though, given the bright moonlight, it was hardly needed on this night. "Harold is here somewhere," Nell said, naming her husband. "He's probably met up with Wilfred and their historical society pals." "How about the rest of the Knit and Nibblers?" Bettina asked. "I can't see our straight-laced Roland in a costume, but Holly must be here somewhere. She's one of Arborville's biggest boosters, and she'd never miss an event like this." Bettina took a few steps back toward the bonfire, and Pamela followed her, peering toward the crowd. But the contrast between the darkness and the glare of the flames blurred her vision, and the point of the costumes was, after all, to disguise, so it was impossible to recognize any one particular person. As they stood there staring at the shifting mass of revelers, a sound from behind her distracted Pamela. She grabbed Bettina's arm and whispered, "What was that?" "Someone screamed," Bettina whispered back. The sound came again, louder, establishing that it was indeed a scream and that the person screaming was moving closer. "It's coming from back in those trees," Pamela said. She turned toward the stand of trees at the edge of the park. Nell had turned too, her filmy dress catching the beams of light from the tall pole. Pamela took a few hurried steps toward the stand of trees. A dirt path provided a shortcut to the tennis courts and 2 restrooms in a rustic stone building, and Pamela launched herself onto the path just as the scream came again. It was shadowy back among the trees, but the moonlight offered enough illumination to navigate by. "Oh, my God!" wailed a horrified voice. "She's dead!" The next moment, Pamela found herself hugging a terrified young woman. She backed up the way she'd come, drawing the young woman along with her. After she'd progressed a few feet, 2 voices competed for her attention. One voice was Bettina's, calling her name, and the voice was soon complemented by Bettina's presence. Bettina wrapped both Pamela and her young charge, who was by this time weeping, in a hug of her own, and the 3 of them paused amid the trees. The other voice was not calling Pamela. It was a young man's voice, and it was calling someone named Misty. A figure darted out from behind a tree, a figure not much larger than the young woman who was still clinging to Pamela, but the full moon provided enough light to reveal the newcomer as a young man, or really a teenage boy, and the young woman looked to be a girl, really a girl of about 13 or 14. "Misty?" he called again, and the young woman pushed away from Pamela. She whirled around, and in a moment the boy, Pamela couldn't think of him as anything other, was grasping her as intensely as she had grasped Pamela. Bettina had by this time let go of Pamela as well. Now she stood beside Pamela and was the first of the 2 to find her voice. "What on earth is going on?" she asked. As the boy stroked the girl's hair and the girl sobbed, Bettina's words were echoed by another voice, Nell's gentle voice. Nell crept up beside them, repeating her query. "Someone is dead." The boy's arms tightened even more protectively around the girl's back. His voice struck Pamela as an approximate